I'm going to vote in favor of this legislation. And I have to say I do so with a heavy heart because I listened to my colleagues across the aisle. And I consider it a tragedy anytime one of our brothers or sisters, one of God's children, has their liberty taken away, is in jail. I long for the day that no one should have to live that plight. Senator Rivera said the system is not perfect. Nothing or no one is perfect. I understand that. I don't have a perfect answer, but I do know this. There are people being killed in our community. People are being raped. People are being harmed. People are victims of domestic violence. And when someone continues to commit those crimes, I don't know, and I'm going to admit to this body, to my colleagues, I don't know what better answer there is. One day we may have that answer, but right now I'm not sure what else we can do but to say, we've got to keep you away from the next victim. We've got to make sure that next victim does not become a victim. A couple of bills ago, the system's not perfect. I didn't speak. Watched some of my colleagues vote no on my legislation. Senate 2819. A few years ago, a bright light, a person of color in my community, lived at the Berry Homes, 20 years old, Cesar Sanchez, was gunned down. He was gunned down by someone who had killed someone at that very spot, another young person, 6 years before, who was paroled. He'd pled down to manslaughter. Cesar Sanchez was the light of our community. He ran a basketball program. He helped people of color and young people of every persuasion and color to get out of their situation. He was loved by all. He had absconded. Parole knew that he absconded, and the law enforcement was not notified. They could have picked him up. They could have found out that by virtue of the fact that he absconded, that he was in a bad place in a bad way. And if my bill that some of you voted against was the law, they would have picked him up, the perpetrator. They may have helped him. But more importantly, Cesar Sanchez would be alive. So I get it, nothing is perfect. But we've got to figure out policies, my friends and my colleagues, that protect innocent people. And I think this bill, imperfectly, does that. But in the absence of another answer, I don't know what we ought to do except vote in the affirmative on this legislation. Thank you, Mr. President.